Welcome back to the channel, guys. It is me, 8744, and today, guys, we're doing Concacaf World Cup qualifiers predictions for the month of June, guys. And it's really interesting, guys. We haven't had these games take place since June of last year, so it's been a whole entire year. So we're gonna actually look at the results from the previous games, and I also got a special guest to join us for today. And his name is Brandon Blanco. So, Brandon, introduce yourself, man.
Well, thank you for having me, AD. My name is Brandon. I am a Concacaf enthusiast. Love I love to watch the Gold Cup, the World Cup qualifiers, and yeah, a lot has happened ever since last year. So yeah, I mean, thank you for inviting me, and so I look forward to discussing my thoughts. And yeah.
Yeah, so I'll leave a link to a description below where you can follow him on Twitter. And yeah, you guys can follow him and get opinions with him, of course, as we do this qualifiers. So let's go ahead and start with the first group we got here. This is Group A. We got Honduras, Cuba, Cayman Islands, Antigua, Barbuda, and Bermuda. So as you can see, Honduras and Cuba pretty much being the top two. You would probably expect that. And yeah, looking at the previous results here, as you can see, these are the previous results of 5 games have taken place. All the results there. I don't think there's any shocks here in particular. I think all the results here are expected, right?
I would say the Cayman Islands versus Antigua. I would say it was a bit of a shock because Antigua and Barbuda, they've been like for a long time. They've been a decent side in the Concacaf region. I remember they even reached. I don't. Yeah, I remembered. They are a decent side, and Cayman Islands, on the other hand, they're kind of like a minnow basically in Concacaf. So I would say it was a bit of a shock to say the least. And yeah, Antigua. Oh wait, yeah, Antigua and Barbuda. They were in the third round of the 2014 World Cup qualifiers. I mean, they've been a decent side, maybe like a probably like a C level, B minus level. I don't think they made it to a Gold Cup, but they should still be beating Cayman Islands. So it was a bit of a shock.
Yeah. All right. So let's go look at the games we got here. So we got 5 games. So we got Bermuda versus Cayman Islands. I think I'm going to go with Bermuda to win.
Um, yeah, I would say Bermuda as well.
Antigua, Barbuda versus Cuba. I mean, this should be a Cuba win.
Yeah, I would say so. They've Antigua has been falling off for quite a while,
Yeah.
and Cuba, they are even though they're not going to be in the Gold Cup this year, they are still a decent side. They have a couple of players playing abroad. Something that was before it was a lot of them were playing in the domestic league, but now over the years, a lot of them are playing abroad. So I would say Cuba.
Yeah. I think Cayman Islands was a Honduras. I would say Honduras should win that.
Yeah, Honduras should win, and they should win big.
Yeah. I think Cuba versus Bermuda. That should be Cuba win.
Yeah, I would say so, and it's probably going to be academic by that point because probably Cuba will most likely be qualified by then, and so yeah,
And the Honduras versus Antigua Barbuda. Honduras should win that.
yeah, same as well. Honduras, I think Honduras will probably be qualified by then, and then I could see them maybe giving a few starters to their backups. Yeah,
I mean, even still, I think a B team should still be able to beat those teams. So.
and they should still beat Antigua. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, let's move to the next group we got here. Costa Rica, Trinidad, St. Kitts and Nevis, Grenada, Bahamas. Pretty expected. I don't think there's any true surprises here in the standings. Maybe you could say it's a bit surprising that Trinidad drew draw points. But other than that, I don't think there's any two shocks here, I would say. And look at the results right here. Yeah, Trinidad tying at home to Grenada is probably the big surprise of this group. Other than that, I think every other result's pretty much expected.
Yeah, I would say so as well. I would say I think it was a bit of a shock that drew to Grenada. Like Grenada, they're kind of a interesting signing in the Caribbean. They're kind of like they can give they're I wouldn't say like they're a great team, but they are like a decent side. Like I remember they were in the Gold Cup as well, like 4 years, not too long ago. So they're kind of a decent side, and but still Trinidad should still be beating them at home. So yeah.
Yeah, so we got the games. We got Grenada versus Bahamas. I think Grenada should win this one. Being at home, I think that should give them the win. I would expect them to win.
Yeah, I would say that as well.
Trinidad versus St. Kitts and Nevis. Now, this is going to be an interesting one. I think this is probably the game that I think is the most interesting here. I'm going to say Trinidad barely wins, but I could see this one being a draw.
And interesting enough, St. Kitts and Nevis eliminated Trinidad and Tobago in the last
Yeah,
World Cup qualifiers. So you could say there's kind of like revenge, basically. So
yeah,
so
revenge.
basically, and so like I guess Trinidad will probably be motivated to knock out the team that eliminated them from the World Cup qualifiers. And it still surprises me today that they got knocked out much earlier than expected. So for Trinidad, so yeah, and I know
I think they get
St.
revenge.
Kitts, and I know St. Kitts because we played against them in the World Cup qualifiers in the last cycle in the 22 one. So they were just no match for us.
Yeah, do you think Trinidad gets revenge?
I would say so. I think Trinidad has made some improvements there, and then I like what the coach is doing. I think the coach is one of the well-known players for Trinidad. I think Stern John. He's a well-known player. He's a well-known legend in Trinidadian football, and yeah, I think Trinidad has they've done some they've had some good results, but yeah, but it's to be expected from them. Honestly, I don't really expect much of them. Honestly,
All right, next we got Bahamas versus Costa Rica. Costa Rica should win this one.
yes, absolutely, and this is going to be wait and also Costa Rica. They've had a change of coach. Last year was Alfaro, who is now the coach of Paraguay. Now you know who's coaching Costa Rica?
No, I don't know.
The former coach of Mexico, Miguel Herrera. So
Wow.
he's an interesting coach in Mexico, and it's going to be interesting to see how Costa Rica will be with Miguel Herrera, former Mexico coach, now coaching Costa Rica. So yeah.
Yeah. All right, then St. Kitts and Nevis Grenada. Now, this is a really difficult one to call. I think any of the three outcomes can happen. I'm gonna go for my first one here. I'm gonna go for a draw. I'm gonna say a draw for this one.
I'm gonna say a 1-0 win for Grenada. I'll say a 1-0
Oh,
win.
you're going for the away win. Okay, that's a
Yeah,
good bold. I like it. All right, and then for the big one, Matt, Costa Rica versus Trinidad. I think Costa Rica's got this.
this is going to be the game of who will most likely finish first in the group. I mean, chances are
Yes.
both of them will be qualified by then, and but I'll say Costa Rica will win 2-0, maybe. Yeah, I just can't see Trinidad getting a point in Costa Rica. Costa Rica is a very hard side to play in Costa Rica, so yeah, I don't think Trinidad will win.
Yeah. All right, let's move to Group C as we got Curacao, Haiti, St. Lucia, Aruba, Barbados. Pretty expected, I gotta say, 6-6,
Yeah,
1-1-0.
it's
So
a straightforward group, honestly. It's one of those groups that
yeah.
you would see on FM, honestly.
Yeah, I think pretty much none of the results here are surprising. It's pretty much all expected. So
Yeah,
yeah.
nothing to be said of, honestly.
All right, let's go look at the games. We got Barbados versus Aruba. The Battle of the Minnows, I gotta say. I'm gonna say a draw. I'm just gonna play it safe and just say draw.
Yeah, I'll just say a draw as well, or maybe a 1-0 win for Barbados. There's nothing to be said about them, honestly.
Yeah, Curacao versus St. Lucia.
They're both. I guess it's probably gonna be the game of whoever wins will probably not finish last in that group. So yeah,
Yeah. Curacao versus St. Lucia. Curacao got this, right?
yeah, Curacao should win, even though they have
Aruba.
issues with the federation. Curacao
Yeah.
should still win.
Aruba versus Haiti. Haiti's got this, right?
Haiti should win. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say 3-0 for Haiti. even though Haiti, they've been having issues with the country, and they've been having a lot of instability, and they're not going to be playing their games at home because of that. So, but still, I think Haiti, they are a decent side. I think they're a B level. They're a B level team in Concacaf. They're always a side that's hard to beat, and they're going to be an interesting side for the next round.
Yeah, and then St. Lucia versus Barbados. Once again, another battle of the minnows. I'm gonna say another draw. I know it's a boring pick, but I have
Yeah,
to say
I'll
it's
say a draw. I'll say a draw
yeah.
as well.
Okay, now
Nothing
this is
too
an interesting one.
happen.
Haiti versus Curacao. Now this is an interesting one. This is a difficult one to call. I think I'm gonna say a draw for this one.
I'm gonna say a draw. Though I think they're kind of like evenly, like they're on the same level together. Haiti and Curacao,
Yeah, I
they're
agree.
both on the same level.
Yeah,
So I could see a 1-0 win for Haiti, a draw, or maybe a 1-0 win for Curacao. So you could see either or of those scenarios. But I think I think a draw definitely favors Haiti because I think they are ahead of goal difference if I'm not mistaken, or Curacao. I could be wrong, but yeah.
yeah. Let me just quickly look back real quick. Oh, sorry. Curacao +5. So Curacao is actually on ahead.
Also, Haiti is. Oh, sorry, Curacao is on head of goal difference. Okay, so
Yeah, yeah.
so
All right,
probably
let's move
Haiti
to
will definitely want to win.
yeah. Group D. Group D. We got Nicaragua, Panama, Guyana, Montserrat, and Belize. I think the only thing that's surprising here is that Panama's not first on goal difference. That's probably the only surprising thing. But other than that, it's pretty expected. I got to say, right?
Um, yeah. Other than Panama, I'm a bit surprised that Panama um they they aren't at top right now at the moment. Given that they're one of the best sides in Concacaf so far, but I don't. I'm not really surprised about Nicaragua being in at the top, or they should be second, but still, Nicaragua, they are a decent side. They are, I would say, kind of like I would say they're kind of like a same level as Cuba, or maybe maybe Cuba, or they're like a good side, but like they're a decent side. I don't think they're going to be in the Gold Cup this year, but they're still a good side regardless.
All right. These are the results right here. I don't think there's anything surprising here. Maybe the fact that Panama didn't score more against Guyana is kind of concerning, but other than that, that's fine, I guess. Not really too surprising here.
I think Panama at the time they were worried about the Copa America preparation, probably why.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They remember
Makes sense.
Panama. They were preparing for the Copa America. They weren't giving a lot. They were using these two games as a to give
French
to
players.
rotate the squad. So yeah,
Yeah. All right, so we got Montserrat versus Belize. I'm gonna say a draw for this one. Maybe could see Montserrat win, but I'll just play it safe as just say draw.
yeah. I'm gonna say a draw. I think Belize. Yeah, I just don't think they have enough to do it. And Montserrat, they are an interesting side. I do remember we faced them in the last one and we couldn't beat them. So they're like a good defensively side, but other than that, yeah, both of them they're not making out of the next round.
Nicaragua versus Guyana. Nicaragua should win this.
Yeah, I'm gonna say a 1-0 win. I'm gonna say they're gonna battle through, but Nicaragua should beat Guyana.
And Belize versus Panama. I'm sorry to my Belizeans on my channel. Panama is going to win this.
Yeah, they should beat Panama. They should beat Belize and comfortably.
Guyana versus Montserrat. For this one, I think I'm going to say, I guess I'll say a draw. Or maybe Guyana win. You know what? I'll say Guyana win.
I'm gonna say a 1-0 win for Guyana. I mean, but by then they'll probably be eliminated by then, so it's not gonna really matter.
Panama versus Nicaragua, the big decisive game. This is going to be a huge one. And I got Panama to win this one.
I'll say Panama 1-0. because
And I think this was
because Panama has always had Nicaragua's number all the time, and they put a lot of basically beatings against Nicaragua. They put like 4 or 5 goals past them, but Nicaragua over the years they've they've improved over time, and I don't think Nicaragua will lay down in Panama. But I still think that Panama the quality will still the quality will be hard to beat. So yeah.
all right. As we move to Group E, we got Guatemala, Jamaica, Dominican Republic, Dominica, and British Virgin Islands. And man, Jamaica's goal difference is kind of sad. +2 is kind of sad.
Yeah, it's the same reason as Panama as well. Like Jamaica, they were gonna be in the Copa America, so they were using their players, some of the rotationary players, to play. But still, they should still be on top by now. And
Yeah, I mean, struggle.
they almost drew to Dominica, uh, which
Uh,
was that was just that was a bit concerning because they should be beating Dominica by a lot. But again, there's always a lot of surprises
yeah,
in football.
yeah, that's true. All right, so we got Dominica versus British Virgin Islands. I'm gonna say a draw for this one.
I'm gonna say a 1-0 win for Dominica. I mean, both of them they're not gonna make it, but I think I'll say Dominica wins.
All right, Guatemala versus Dominican Republic. Guatemala should win this one.
That's gonna be that's gonna be the game. That's gonna be the game because if Guatemala wins, Guatemala makes it to the next round. A draw that could favor the Dominican Republic because Guatemala are playing Jamaica away, and
Yeah. Yes.
Dominican Republic are playing against Dominica, who are probably going to be eliminated by them. So definitely, Dominican Republic will definitely want to draw or maybe a win. And given how Dominican Republic has improved over the years, they even have Junior Firpo. They even have Diaz, who played for Real Madrid. They've been
Oh yeah, that's
recruiting a
true.
lot of dual nationals, and I'm gonna say this. I think Guatemala will win, but it's gonna be ugly. It's gonna be a hard fought win. I'm gonna say a 2-1 win for Guatemala. It's gonna be a hard
Yeah,
it's gonna be a hard game for Guatemala for sure. But I still think they're playing at home, and at home is good. And and Panama couldn't even beat them in Guatemala, so they're good away. They're home side with Guatemala. So yeah.
yeah. This is a really difficult one to call, but I'm still gonna give Guatemala. I think they'll edge it just like 1-0 or something. Jamaica, British Virgin
Yeah.
Islands versus Jamaica. Jamaica should win that, obviously. Um,
if
Dominican
if
Republic.
they if Jamaica somehow can't put 4 past 3 or 4 past them, then we need to have a conversation for Jamaica because they are one of the favorites to qualify for the World Cup. A lot of people are saying Jamaica will qualify and this and that, but already over the last couple of months, Jamaica to me they haven't been convincing at all. Like I feel like Jamaica they always play down to their opposition at times and play up to their opposition when they're playing against a hard team. So yeah,
All right. Dominican Republic versus Dominica. I mean, the Dominicans are. It's basically a derby. We have the Dominican derby. I don't know if that's a thing, but I'm just guessing there's. But the names just familiar. But Dominican Republic should win the derby. Come on.
they should win. They should win.
Yeah. All right. Now the final game: Jamaica versus Guatemala. Man, Okay, this is a really interesting one because even though Jamaica are the heavy favorites, I could see a situation where Jamaica could actually struggle here. But I'm going to say Jamaica still win this one though.
Yeah, I'll say maybe like a 1-0 win for Jamaica, but don't be surprised if Jamaica draws against Guatemala because there's always this
Yeah,
side
Guatemala.
of always they play up to the opposition at times and play down to the opposition. I think Jamaica they're kind of like Ukraine basically. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. And then the final group we got here, it is Suriname, Puerto Rico, El Salvador, St. Vincent the Grenadines, and Anguilla. Kind of surprising how El Salvador kind of struggling.
Yeah, as a Salvadoran, also a surprise as well, but not really at the same time because at the time we had a coach that we found him on the streets of Barcelona, HH reference. So the Salvadoran FA, we found him on the streets of Barcelona, and he's been selling fruits in Barcelona. And yeah, who we had at the time, David Doniga, he just didn't convince me at all. And now we have a new coach. His name is Hernan Dario Gomez. He's a well-known coach in the Concacaf region. He has qualified for the World Cup 3 times. I think with Colombia, Ecuador, and Panama in the 2018 cycle. So a lot has happened for El Salvador, and we should have beaten Puerto Rico in that game. We should have, and there's no excuses. And we are in a precarious spot. I'm not gonna lie, we were, but let's keep this in mind. During the 22 World Cup qualifiers, we were in a good with Antigua and Barbuda, Montserrat, Grenada as well, and U.S. Virgin Islands. And we were and at the time, only one team could qualify for like the playoffs to make it to the octagonal, and we drew to Montserrat at first, and so there's kind of like a bit some similarities between our start in the 22 qualifiers and this one, and so I do think that El Salvador will eventually. I'm gonna say I'm hesitantly optimistic that we will finish first. Like in the end, even though it's gonna be ugly, even though we're not gonna convince the fans, but it's just a lot has changed, and so I'm cautiously optimistic. So yeah.
Yeah, let's go through these games. So St. Vincent Grenadines was in Gia. I'm gonna say a draw for that one.
I'm gonna say St. Vincent. I'm gonna say 2-0.
Okay. Suriname versus Puerto Rico. Suriname should win this one.
Yeah, I will say Suriname. But Puerto Rico, they're a team on the rise as well. They're like Dominican Republic. I think they have 2 players who are playing in La Liga. I think one of them who's playing for Sevilla, and then the other who's playing for Real Madrid, but he's playing for the Real Madrid B side. So yeah.
Okay. All right, then Anguilla versus El Salvador. Come on, you got to beat Anguilla.
Yeah, El Salvador should beat Anguilla, and we finished our game against Guatemala today. The first half we played in a friendly today against Guatemala, and I was telling you this on Twitter. We were playing in Tennessee, Chattanooga, if you know Chattanooga. In the first half, El Salvador, yeah, we just weren't completely good. A lot of the old players, they're completely washed. But the second half, the coach made some changes. He started to put in the fresh blood, and one of the players who scored in the under 17 qualifiers, we're going to be in the under 17 World Cup. The one who scored against Jamaica in the under 17 game, he scored against Guatemala. So his name is Brandon Ramirez. He's a exciting talent to watch. And he scored today, so I'm definitely excited for this kid. But yeah, regardless, I do think that the El Salvador should beat Anguilla. I'm gonna say 3-0, 4-0, or 5-0, but we should score a lot because goal difference will matter.
Puerto Rico is the same as the Grenadines. Puerto Rico should win that one.
Puerto Rico should win. I'm gonna say 1-0, 2-0.
Now this one's gonna be interesting. El Salvador versus Suriname, and this is a must-win game. I don't know, man. This is a difficult one to call, but unfortunately, I'm gonna go with the draw. I don't think you guys win that one.
Let's keep this in mind. One of the players for Suriname who plays for Sociedad, he's injured. He's not going to be playing the game. So
I know what you're talking about. Is that Becker? You're talking about Becker.
Becker, yes. Oh. So I heard on the news, I heard on Twitter that he's not going to be playing against El Salvador at the Cuscatlán. That was one player that I was really scared of. But I do think that El Salvador will win, but maybe like 1-0 or maybe like 2-1. But yeah, but Suriname has never beaten El Salvador in El Salvador. So that again, that could maybe fate that again, Suriname could be motivated. You know what this game reminds me of? This game reminds me of the Vietnam versus Indonesia game in the World Cup qualifiers. Suriname, they're like Indonesia, they are recruiting a ton of Dutch origin players, and then Vietnam. It kind of reminds me of that game, Vietnam versus Indonesia. I hope Suriname don't put 3 past us, kind of like what they did against Vietnam. But I'm gonna say 1-0 win for El Salvador, just barely. But I think we'll get the job done.
All right, so that's going to be it for today, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy these World Cup qualifier predictions. Around 26 minutes covering the company. We got 6 groups, a lot to look forward to. So, remember, guys, if you guys did enjoy, guys, like and subscribe. And yeah, once again, Brandon, thank you for coming on. And yeah, it was great having you on, man.
Thank you very much for having me, for sure.